History movies lie to you. They show the Old West as whiskey, piano music, and romance behind swinging doors. They show brothels as places of charm, laughter, even love. But real records tell a different story. Sheriff reports, doctor journals, court letters never meant to be published. They describe debt traps, diseases with no cure, women who kept entire towns alive, and were discarded the moment the money stopped. What you're about to hear sounds fake. It isn't. These are 15 banned Old West brothel facts so disturbing, so hidden, they were buried in archives for decades. And once you hear them, you'll never see the Wild West the same way again. Before we begin, if you want real history, not the cleaned-up version, subscribe to Epic Ages Uncovered. We uncover the stories textbooks leave out. Number 1. Brothels were built in tents, not buildings. During the gold rush of the 1870s, towns like Deadwood didn't have time for walls. Brothels were canvas tents stitched onto saloons. A curtain, a bed, a few minutes. No bathing, no doctors, no privacy. Men paid with gold dust, weighed on the same scales as whiskey. Within weeks, disease spread faster than gunfire. Syphilis, gonorrhea, fever. Sheriffs knew, doctors warned them. But shutting it down meant killing the town's economy, so they looked away. Number 2. Sin money paid for churches and police. In boomtowns like Virginia City, Nevada, morality was a performance. On Sundays, sermons about sin. On Mondays, city councils counting brothel license fees. That money paid for streetlights, police patrols, road repairs, even schools. One famous Madam Mustache, ran gambling houses and brothels across multiple camps. Silver built the town, but vice kept it running. Number 3. Some theaters hid brothels upstairs. The Birdcage Theater in Tombstone looked innocent. Downstairs, piano music, poker tables, crowds. Upstairs, 14 tiny cribs, women working nonstop, no fixed hours. Lawmen came quietly. Miners spent entire paychecks. The town knew. The town stayed silent. Because silence was profitable. Number 4. Madams were some of the West's richest women. In Denver, Molly Silks didn't survive the West. She mastered it. She bought a high-end brothel for what would be hundreds of thousands today. She ran it like a corporation, with staff schedules, fixed pricing, and investments in property. She became a millionaire. Newspapers tried to erase her image. Authorities blocked photos. But money spoke louder than morality. Number 5. Disease was more feared than guns. In the Old West, gunfights were dramatic, but disease was far deadlier. In cattle towns like Dodge City, infections spread faster than rumors. No antibiotics, no real treatments, almost no prevention. Doctors kept private journals describing memory loss, personality changes, and complete mental collapse. By the time symptoms were obvious, it was already too late. Sheriffs tried inspections and quarantines, but enforcement was weak. Shutting down brothels meant shutting down income, so most officials stayed silent. People were isolated quietly, hidden in back rooms, and eventually erased from town memory. No trials, no announcements, just whispers, and empty graves at the edge of town. Number 6. Brothel owners helped push women's voting. When Wyoming Territory granted women the right to vote in 1869, it was celebrated as progress. But the story behind it is more complicated. The madams paid rent, taxes, fines, and supplied goods. They knew sheriffs, councilmen, and judges personally. Some historians believe these women quietly pushed for women's voting rights to gain legal protection and stability. Voting meant influence. Influence meant survival. Publicly, morality was preached. Privately, deals were made. Notes from meetings mysteriously vanished. Progress arrived through negotiation, money, and power behind closed doors. Number 7. Some women were locked in cubicles. In 1850s San Francisco, especially in Chinatown districts, some women lived inside locked cubicles barely large enough for a mattress. These weren't businesses, they were prisons. Many women were trafficked through false contracts. Their names were changed. Debts were invented. Doors stayed locked at all times. Outside, men lined up day and night. Missionaries and court documents recorded chains, guards, and non-stop collections. But local officials often labeled it private business and moved on. For decades, the public never saw these records. It's one of the darkest realities of the Old West, hidden not by accident, but by choice. Number 8. The woman who saved an outlaw and was erased. In Tombstone, Arizona, Big Nose. Kate was more than just Doc Holliday's companion. When Doc was arrested and rumors of execution spread, Kate acted fast. She started a fire near the jail, screaming for help. Guards ran. Confusion spread. Doc escaped. Later, photographs of Kate circulated. Church leaders and newspapers condemned them. History celebrated the gunslinger. The woman who saved him was quietly erased. The Old West decided who deserved legacy and who deserved silence. Number 9. Brothels that moved with the railroad. As railroad construction pushed west, entire towns appeared and vanished, almost overnight. Where the workers went, brothels followed. In some camps, converted railcars served as mobile houses of prostitution. Inside, a bed, a curtain, a schedule matching paydays. Railroad companies publicly denied involvement, but private letters tell another story. Everyone knew about the railcar brothels, but no one wanted their name tied to them. The rails brought progress, and alongside it, a business no one admitted existed. Number 10. Farm girls trapped by debt. In 1880s Kansas, young women were recruited with promises of respectable work. Maids, cooks, seamstresses. Many came from poor families. Once they arrived, the truth emerged. They owed money for transportation, clothing, food, and lodging. Debt was written into brothel ledgers before their first night. Every dollar earned was immediately reduced by fees, leaving men owing more than they could ever repay. With no family nearby and no legal protection, many changed names or disappeared. Cemeteries at the edge of town filled quietly. Newspapers preached morality. Authorities accepted taxes. Number 11. The madams who built cities. In boomtowns like Helena, Montana, some women used night economy profits to reshape cities. Josephine, Chicago Joe, Hensley moved from entertainment into real estate. After fires cleared town areas, she bought land cheaply and rented to merchants, banks, and professionals. Her donations funded public projects. Her buildings housed legitimate businesses. Yet official histories rarely mentioned her. Seeing a former brothel worker as a city founder made people uncomfortable. Records showing her wealth and influence were quietly archived. Number 12. Jealousy that ended in blood. Brothels were pressure cookers of emotion, alcohol, and desperation. Jealousy often turned deadly. Arguments escalated, ending with knives or revolvers. Sheriffs frequently avoided making arrests. Charging a paying customer meant upsetting the people keeping the town alive financially. Some killings briefly appeared in reports, then vanished. By morning, the saloon reopened. Justice in the Old West wasn't blind. It was selective, and money decided who walked free. Number 13. Opium as survival medicine. In San Francisco's Barbary Coast, brothels sat beside opium dens. For many women, opium wasn't recreation, it was survival. It dulled pain from injuries, exhaustion, and long nights with no rest. City leaders ignored the problem as long as profits flowed. Raids targeted the smallest players. Bosses remained untouched. Documents show a familiar pattern: public outrage, selective enforcement, and history rewritten to protect those in power. Number 14. Desire, race, and control. In post-Civil War New Orleans, brothels reflected racial hierarchy. Events like the famous quadroon balls brought wealthy white men together with black and mixed-race women, but under strict, unspoken rules. Who entered, when they arrived, and how long they stayed was carefully controlled. Crossing boundaries publicly caused scandal. Desire existed, but equality did not. These spaces revealed the hypocrisy of a society obsessed with morality, yet deeply dependent on secrecy and control. Number 15. the law that erased an era. In 1910, the Mann Act gave the federal government power to shut down red light districts nationwide. Raids happened before sunrise. Doors were broken, ledgers confiscated, entire neighborhoods collapsed overnight. Thousands of women were displaced with no support and no alternative work. The law didn't end the industry. It forced it underground. And it permanently erased a chapter of history that had quietly built America's frontier cities. These women weren't just part of the Old West. They financed it. They protected it. They were erased from it. History survived by pretending they didn't exist. Now tell us in the comments, was the Old West built on courage or on exploitation disguised as freedom? Like the video if this changed how you see history. Subscribe to Epic Ages Uncovered, because the past is only impressive once you uncover the truth.